This story's about Jack. Jack's a little guy. He hasn't got much money. He lives in a second-hand teepee in a green community in the hills above Newport. He does a little bit of this and a little bit of that to get by. He gives guitar lessons, he gives massages, he tells the odd story. Now one day Jack decides he wants to make a little bit of money on the side, and he's taking a tray of organically grown, sustainably wrapped flapjacks to the local farmer's market. And on the way to the market he meets a hungry drug dealer. Now the drug dealer's got the munchies and he looks at the tray of flapjacks and he hasn't got any money. He hasn't sold his drugs yet. But he puts his hand in his pockets and he says to Jack, "I'll offer you 9 magic beans for that tray of flapjack." Well, Jack, he's a bit of a chancer. He's been known to say, "I'll try anything once," rather unwisely. So he takes the 9 magic beans and he hands over the flapjacks and he rushes back to his little green community in the hills. And he takes all 9 magic beans at once. And straight away, oh man, there is the most enormous beanstalk you have ever seen. And he climbs up the beanstalk and it's amazing. There's blossom trees and strawberry fields and a castle, a huge castle. And Jack, being a bit of an adventurer, he goes into that castle. But with the castle comes the giant, of course. Bumblebore, the giant. And the giant's hungry and he smells human blood. And he starts to look and he's roaring, "Fee, fi, fo, fum! I smell the blood of an Englishman." The giant's a bit of a Welsh nationalist, you see, and he doesn't like the English, and he's hungry. But luckily the giant's wife, well, she does like Englishmen. She likes little guys. And she says, "Quick, Jack, I'll hide you." And she opens a trunk and she lets Jack hide inside. And inside the trunk, Jack finds 4 treasures. He finds a magic sword. He finds the cap of knowledge. He finds an invisibility cloak, which existed in story and folklore, of course, a long time before J.K. Rowling. And he finds the shoes of swiftness. But the giant is hungry, he's roaring and he's cursing and he's moving through the castle and he's pulling open every drawer, he's opening every cupboard. He's looking in every hidey hole and the giant's wife thinks, "Oh, he's going to find him." So she opens the trunk and she picks up Jack and she hides him about her person. And Jack slides down and down and down. But it's all right, because at that moment, the beanstalk wilts and deposits him back in front of his teepee in his little green community. And then, as he comes round, he hears a voice saying, "Are you all right?" And there's a woman bending over him and she's really beautiful. She has Celtic hair. She has piercings in all the right places. And now things begin to get really strange, because Jack finds himself saying, may I ask for your father's hand in marriage? I mean, no, and may I ask for your hand in marriage?" And the green goddess, she says, "My father, the great eco-warrior, will only give my hand in marriage to the man who completes 4 impossible tasks." And Jack says, "Oh, well, you know, he's in love now," and he puts on a bit of a swagger and he says, "I can do that, tell me what they are." And she says, "You've got to kill a giant. You've got to defeat an ogre. You've got to outwit a fiend. And the last task shall be a mystery task." Well, Jack says, "Well, I'm up for that. Where's this giant then? Tell me where the giant is. Tell me where to find him." And the green goddess whispers in his ear, a process he finds quite delightful. But then Jack goes a little pale. Right, I'll go and find him. You needn't worry. He's everywhere. You'll soon meet him," said the green goddess. "He's everywhere." because the giant's name, you see, is Tesco. And Jack goes into the city and she's right straight away. He meets the giant and he takes his sword and he cuts off the giant's head. But almost immediately another one springs up and another one. There's little heads springing up all over the place. But Jack, of course, he has the magic sword. So he takes the magic sword and he inflicts a mortal blow on the giant Tesco. And then all the little whole food co-ops and all the corner shopkeepers, they all come and they jump on the giant until he's dead. And he rushes back to the green goddess and he says, I've killed the giant. What's the next task? And she says, you have to defeat an ogre. And again, she whispers in his ear, quite delightful. But then Jack goes very pale. And if any of you have had any dealings with this place, you will know why dread entered his heart when she said, you will find him in the palace of the DWP. And Jack went there, and you know the corridors, they are a tangled maze of benefit regulations. And people have died in the corridors of despair, waiting for their claim to be processed. And in the centre of this empire is the ogre, Athos. Now Athos is a real bully. He is the worst kind of ogre because he picks on the weak and he picks up sick and disabled people by the ankles and he shakes them until all the money comes out of their pocket. But Jack, you know, Jack has the cap of knowledge, otherwise known as the Disability Rights Handbook. And so with a cap of knowledge, with his superior knowledge and with moral right on his side, Jack defeats the ogre. He doesn't kill him, but Athos loses his contract. And so he rushes back to the green goddess and says, I've outwitted the ogre. Now what? And she whispers in his ear, oh, but now Jack's heart fails him because she's asked him to take up a complaint with EE Customer Services. And now Jack, he tries to ring, but whatever he does, he's stuck in a washing machine cycle and he's going round and round and he always ends up back at the main menu and he's in despair and he's jabbing numbers at random. What can he do? He's got an invisibility cloak, but what use is that? He's already invisible. He's an EE customer. But Jack, he's a bright lad. He's been around. He puts on the invisibility cloak inside out. He becomes visible. He gets through. He gets through to a human being, a nice person, not a parrot. And he explains the problem. And he's granted a 12-month refund of the Green Goddess's phone contract. And he rushes back eagerly to tell her, but she's not there. This is the mystery task. But another handmaid of the green community is there. And she also whispers in Jack's ear. And he says, oh, the bower. She's in the bower. Oh, he likes the idea of looking for the green goddess in the bower of bliss. No, you fool, the gower, she said. You've got to get there before sunset if you want to win the girl. And now Jack's really in trouble because he's got to go down the M4 corridor. And there are so many obstacles. There are speed cameras after speed cameras and there are cones. Oh, thank goodness. He has the shoes of swiftness. He abandons his old van and he puts on the shoes of swiftness and he leaps those cones and he races over the speed cameras and he gets to the gower just as the sun is beginning to sink into a bed of cloud. And now you see, this is being recorded and I don't know what kind of audience you are. And I don't know whether you want a happy ending or a sad ending. So I'm going to give you both. The sad ending. He gets there and he sees the green goddess and he puts his arms around her and they go straight through her because the magic beans have really now worn off. And he wakes up in front of his teepee with a really bad headache, resolving never, never to take magic beans again. For the more positive and sanguine amongst the audience, he gets there in time. He clasps the green goddess in his arms. They kiss as the sunset is in the background. And then, because you're an adult audience, hopefully, they go to the green goddess's tent and they turn the gower into a bower of bliss. Thank you. I've been Deb Winter and it was lovely to meet you.